The ESPN Football Power Index. How accurate is it? Welcome to the Voice of College Football. We break down the game we all love each and every day with you. Best discussion, debate, and analysis because of you. So please tell your friends. Share these videos on social media. Subscribe. That's a must. You got to subscribe, of course. Actually, last month, 65% of our videos watched by non-subscribers. So everyone that's watching should be subscribing right here at the Voice of College Football, and smash the like button, of course. All right. When asked about the Football Power Index, my response is always, I don't know. Why are we citing that statistic? We have no idea how accurate this is. I don't know if ESPN does. If they track their own numbers and the probabilities that they put out there versus the actual results, nobody knows it because it's not out there. And if it is, please send me a link. Otherwise, it's like the particular analysts out there online or on television that predict the games every week and don't reveal their record. We don't have a record. They don't track their record. They don't reveal or display the record. We don't know. Not like this kid right here on Patreon, and throughout the years, typically on YouTube, I posted the videos every Saturday to show my record. 94-64 against the spread this year. 119-41 money line. There it is. Join us on Patreon. All right. But for the Football Power Index, I looked at last week's Week 8 results. 27 games played in the Power 5. And the Football Power Index was correct 20 times out of 27. What that means, I don't know. Because many of these games are obviously gimmies. They're obvious. So I divided this into 3 categories, and then we're going to look at this week's Week 9 games and a few in which I think the Football Power Index is off. So overall, my response when asked about the FPI has always been, I don't know how accurate it is. But there have certainly been occasions in which I've looked at a number in the FPI and said, that's ridiculous. That is not accurate. That is not reflective of these two teams. Case in point, the one that comes to mind, and there are many, last season, Miami-Louisville. Louisville was an 87% probability winner. 87% against Miami. Miami won the game by 2 scores. Made no sense. Louisville finished the season 4-7. Miami went 8-3. All right. Again, that was one of many. Last week, 27 Power 5 games. The FPI was correct 20 times. I divided this, though, into your gimmies, 90% plus. Then your, where there's a decided favorite, 60% to 90%. It's a pretty broad range, but still, let's not get too complicated here. And then the toss-up games. 50 to 60%, in that range. Of course, if it's 58-42, that's not necessarily a toss-up. But again, we don't want to get too complicated here. So we had some obvious games last week. Oklahoma, Kansas, 98.5 for Oklahoma. They won 35-23. Of course, it was close, and they were down by 10 in the third quarter, but no one could have disagreed with Oklahoma 98.5 going into the game. There was also, of course, Arkansas Pine Bluff, 99.9. Yeah, 45-3 game. We also had Mississippi State and Vandy at 94.7. Mississippi State won by 39. Anybody against Vandy's 90+% most of the time. We also had Florida State UMass 59-3 game. Florida State came in at 95.9. Really, the one that stands out there is, okay, Texas A&M 93.5 over South Carolina. They won by 30. Bama, Tennessee, for as good a team as Tennessee is, pretty quality football team. I'd say a top 35 to 40 team in the nation. Bama still, because it's Bama, and they were at home 90.8. It was a 24-17 game going into the fourth quarter. Bama wins it, of course, by 28, but at 90.8. So those are the gimmies. But there was one gimme that tripped up the FPI, and that, of course, was Illinois over Penn State. In 9 overtimes, Illinois was a 17.5% probability to win that game. Penn State at 92.5. Loser. Okay. Those decided favorites, solid favorites, You had a number of them. Pitt over Clemson, actually. This surprised me. Pitt at 63.4 over Clemson, 63-37. Of course, Pitt won the game. Wake Forest over Army, 68.6. Louisville, BC, pretty high at 63.8. Virginia, Georgia Tech, Virginia at 63. Iowa State, Oklahoma State. This is one that I thought too high. Now, it came through, but too high. Iowa State, Oklahoma State. Iowa State, 81.8 over Oklahoma State. 81, practically 82-18. Too high. You also had some 80 percentiles with Washington, Arizona. Some of yours in the 70s. Notre Dame, USC, 77-23, Notre Dame. And Ole Miss over LSU, 72-28. Okay. The ones in this percentile that were upsets, well, we had Syracuse over Virginia Tech. Syracuse was only a 22.7% chance of winning. Texas Tech over Kansas State, or Kansas State defeating Texas Tech, rather. Kansas State was only at 33%. Then you also had Oregon State defeating Utah at home, and Oregon State was only at 35%. But those were upsets right there. Then you had your toss-up games. BYU, Washington State was basically 50-50. Oregon, UCLA, 51-49. You had a slight upset, according to the FPI. Purdue losing at home against Wisconsin. That was 54-46. So again, 20 out of 27 for the FPI in Week 8. Week 9. Okay. We're going through all the Power 5 games. Don't have time to do every game in America. The Power 5 games. The 90+% probabilities belong to Oregon over Colorado, Oklahoma State over Kansas, and USC over Arizona. Maybe some folks need to watch the Arizona-Washington State or Washington game last weekend, or USC at any time this year. 93.3%. Okay. Solid favorites. These are the ones that stand out to me. Pitt, Miami. I know it's played at Pitt. I know the Panthers are a strong football team. They're number 6 in the FPI, I heard. I heard that somewhere. I didn't look at the FPI myself. Pitt has an 80+% chance of defeating Miami. 80 to less than 20%. I think that's a bit strong. Got Georgia Tech over Virginia Tech at 61%. Iowa State over West Virginia at 70%. Mizzou over Vandy, 84%. It's Vandy, okay, even though it's on the road. Arizona State over Washington State at 87%. Georgia, Florida, 80% to 20%. Oklahoma, Texas Tech, 88.6 for Oklahoma after what we saw last week. I don't know. On the road, Texas Tech, I believe they're on the road. Maybe not. Clemson, Florida State, 85% there. The other two that stand out to me, Nebraska and Purdue. That sounds like a toss-up game. Purdue's better. They've played better. They're at Nebraska. Nebraska's a 74.9% chance. 75% Nebraska over Purdue? Really? And then the other one that's curious to me is North Carolina State, Louisville. NC State should win the game. Better team. Slightly better team. 77.1 for North Carolina State over Louisville. And then you got your basic toss-up games. Okay, Michigan State, they're going with the road team. Michigan at 56%. That's a pretty solid road favorite, 56% for Michigan. Iowa, Wisconsin. Iowa's the favorite on the road against Wisconsin, according to the FPI, even though the Vegas favorite is Wisconsin at basically 54-46. Texas, Baylor. If you take the names off, Texas and Baylor, and just look at the football teams and how they've performed, who's been better? Probably Baylor. And they're at home, and they're at 46%. So those are kind of the ones that stand out. Also, Rutgers, Illinois. Rutgers is not playing good football. Illinois, of course, coming off a major win against Penn State. And I know the FPI is not going to fluctuate based on one game, but Illinois is at home against Rutgers and only at less than 47%. Mississippi State, they're at home, sure, and they're actually, according to Vegas, a slight underdog taking on Kentucky. Kentucky's a top 10 team in the nation, and it's 53.4% Mississippi State. And you see the other games there. I'm intrigued by the Virginia BYU game. Under the radar, great game, possibly on paper. Anyway, I don't know how I'm going to necessarily organize this to rate or evaluate the FPI because it can be a bit involved. We'll say that. People like this video, please like it and share it and do all those things. If you don't, I will stop rating the FPI in any possible way while I try to get through this. But we may go forward tracking the FPI and its accuracy, because that's what we do right here at the Voice of College Football. Post-game shows all over the place on Saturday. Of course, lock it in. And, of course, right here in particular, I will see you late night after Ohio State, Penn State, and all the big primetime games, plus throughout the day with instant analysis. But please join our post-game shows. I will leave a lineup right there so you can join our post-game shows on our various team channels. Any team channels, folks. If you love the Voice of College Football, any team channels under 1,000, please subscribe, and you will get a gold star. Right here, the Voice of College Football. See you Saturday. Enjoy the games.